So looking beyond the mere data science process in itself, so question to the audience, anyone from a more like business executive background in the audience? A couple of them, thank you. Okay, look, great. So if we now say, look, we've just learned that there's a technical process that can automate great parts of data science. That's interesting, right? Because one of the key problems that we see many businesses having right now is that it's not that they don't have any data, but the problem is that is to get value out of that data. And data is growing. It's growing about 40% per year. So you have more and more data, and you're still saying, okay, so what is the one needle in the haystack that I need to know about in order to, make a business decision? And it's not that you're not trying from the business point of view, right? So you're investing into big infrastructure, you're investing into data lakes and say, like, this is what I want to build in order to get value out of my data. And here's the talk at Race of AI that says that basically, like all of these sort of things that are the end result of a data science process, so you say these are things that you would take into a meeting and have presented to you, can be automated. It kind of challenges the status quo a bit. So what's the first reaction from a business point of view that one would have to this? So here's one. This is a quote from a head of strategic planning at an automotive supplier about 2 years ago. He said, well, if this works, I can save the first 2 weeks of every McKinsey project. Right? He said, hey, I will just automate the initial analysis, have the initial results, and then have less to do for the people that are currently charging me a lot of money for this. That's one possible reaction. Another reaction that we also get very frequently is, my data quality is really, really bad. But once again, we talked about the state of the art in data science or artificial intelligence. This is a foggy street. Do you really believe that, for instance, your consolidated income statement has worse data quality than the image of a foggy street? A self-driving car will navigate that street, right? So it will work on that messy data and make decisions in real time about whether to turn left or right. So I think one of the key things for the business community is really to raise your expectation on what an analysis tool can do, even inside of lacking data quality. So the big trend here that we're looking at is essentially the trend of automation, right? So here's a process that you currently already have or plan to build, and that automation has a certain automation potential. Gartner says that they see an automation potential in data science for about 40% by 2020. And what it essentially does is that it says, hey, right now you have a decision to either put money, which is the y-axis, or time, which is the x-axis, against the process that you have, which says, okay, I got an outsourced team, I got an in-house team, and that's basically the cost-effective curve that I have in order to derive value from my data. What AI does here is that it just lowers the curve. It's an automation technology that allows you to run the existing process at a higher speed at a lower cost. But that's not all of it. So this is basically a thing that I delineated in the first part of the talk, which says, hey, you've got a structured, repeatable way for getting from raw data to something that you would take into a meeting. But the key thing here is, as with so many AI systems, it really is fun if you have this sort of feedback loop. If you actually judge how good the result is. You say, yeah, thumbs up, thumbs down on the results that the system is providing, because then you can actually teach the system, or the system can learn from your feedback what are the things that you care about in your data. And this is something that we actually do see in real-world settings. So this is an example from a case from last summer for an insurance company, in which a team of team leads, analysts, were looking at automatically generated results from their insurance data. And they said, well, we found something that we really care about. And they put these things together and say, okay, so maybe this is something that we should use for steering our business processes. But when it was eventually presented to a board member, they said, well, here's something else that I care about, which was not part of the things that you care about, right? So there's different pockets of knowledge, experience, and also business intuitions that reflect upon the data in different ways. People care about different things, and knowing who cares about which part in the data or in the results of the data is very meaningful, because then you can train the system and say, wow, if I need a board level presentation, maybe I show more of this. If I need something that's more operational, maybe it's more of these results. And if you have the feedback loop, then that's actually some pieces of data that you can gather from your ongoing operation.